The lights of Broadway are flickering back to life, bringing us some new shows, along with some old favorites. Favorites like the hugely popular show Wicked. Tracy Smith tells us about its eagerly anticipated reopening.
1, 2, 3.
Like most other Broadway shows, Wicked, the hit musical based on characters from The Wizard of Oz, was sidelined for more than a year. But last month, Wicked's national tour company reopened in Dallas. The costumes came out of storage.
I love them all, really, and I feel like they're mine.
I love the crown.
The Good Witch, Allison Bailey, got her crown back. The Wicked Witch, Talia Suskauer, got a wicked shade of green.
Looks so smooth. Look at that.
And the fans showed up in force, even those who'd seen it before.
How many times have you seen the show?
7.
Probably 15.
15 times.
Yes.
By the start of the first act, the sellout crowd was jubilant.
It's good to see me, isn't it?
And by the time the curtain fell, it was hard to tell just who was happier, the audience or the cast. Since Wicked first opened in 2003, it's been seen by more than 60 million people worldwide and has grossed more than $5 billion. The show is 18 years old, but somehow it still feels new. L. Frank Baum first published The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in 1900, hailed at the time as a joyous children's novel. But in MGM's 1939 movie adaptation, joy often went out the door. Oh, sure, there was Glinda.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
But the other witch, the one with the bigger part, was lean, mean, and Technicolor green.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
In the movie, all you ever hear about the Wicked Witch of the West is she's wicked, wicked, wicked. But that's it.
You're absolutely right, Tracy. In fact, Wicked is part of her name, the Wicked Witch of the West. It has a capital W. She doesn't have a first name. She doesn't have a backstory, which meant that nobody could say that I got it wrong.
Gregory Maguire is the author of the novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, on which the musical is based. He gave her that backstory. Who knew she was a do-gooder with glasses, and that she and Glinda were once roommates? Maguire also gave her a name, Elphaba. It's based on the letters LFB, the initials of original Oz author L. Frank Baum.
So once I got it, I thought, every time her name is spoken or sung, I will be tipping my hat to the original person who created her, Lyman Frank Baum.
The story got the attention of legendary composer Stephen Schwartz, the guy who wrote the music and lyrics for a few other Broadway shows like Godspell and Pippin. And he thought Wicked would work as a musical, too.
I know they're all your babies, but do you have a favorite number?
I do, but I'm not going to say what it is.
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
But Schwartz did like this song, Popular, and he knew he wanted actress Kristen Chenoweth to sing it.
Stephen Schwartz says, I've got this part. It's one song. You come in and kill it. Just come for the reading.
Popular. I'll help you be popular.
It's with you in mind. I can't hear anybody else. I walked in and I sang Popular the first time, and I went, I'm in. I'm in.
It's not about aptitude, it's the way.
Chenoweth went on to become the show's original Good Witch, Glinda.
Very, very popular. Like me.
And the title role of the Wicked Witch went to Broadway veteran Idina Menzel, who says at first she was a bit shaky.
I was always afraid I was going to get fired. They were rewriting things all the time, and I wasn't great at cold reading, so I couldn't always deliver the new lines perfectly, and just like a mad little student with my loose leaf script and ripping out pages. And Kristen was so beautiful and so Glinda, like just perfection. She always just, her first take on everything was just so funny and so right. And I was just the opposite. I just felt like a big mess.
The wizard.
But by opening night, she'd channeled all that self-doubt into what would be a Tony-winning character. Wicked, which opened just after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, is about questioning authority, what's good and what's evil. But it's also become a beacon for anyone who doesn't fit the conventional mold.
We live in a society that's so judgmental, and I'm in the thick of it in this industry. I judge myself harshly, and I have to remind myself, no, this is how you're put together.
And this show strikes a chord with those people that, hey, it's okay if this is how you're put together.
In fact, it can be wonderful.
I do believe I have been changed for the better.
The turning point of the show comes when two unlikely friends have to say goodbye. Wicked lyricist Stephen Schwartz wanted to get the words just right here, so he asked his daughter, Jessica, for help.
I went to Jess with a yellow pad in hand and said, I want you to imagine that you're never going to see your friend Sarah again, and you have one chance to tell her what she means to you. What would you say?
I have been changed
To this day, both women say this song
for good.
has a special place in their hearts.
It's just a beautiful moment for both of us, kind of be able to look back and know that we were changed for good.
Wicked's touring company has been at it for more than a month, but 2 days from now, the show will finally reopen on Broadway. For fans and for Wicked author Gregory Maguire, it can't come fast enough.
Personally, when you see them return, how do you think that'll feel?
I'm going to be in the audience the first night that the lights come up and the monkeys come down on their ropes and the whole saga begins again. And I suspect I'm going to pack 3 or 4 wads of Kleenex in my pockets because we need this story still. We're not done with it.
These people aren't just rich, okay? They're crazy rich. Look, there's new money all over Asia. We got the Beijing billionaires, the Taiwan tycoons, but the Young family, they're old money rich. They had money when they left China in the 1800s.
Since his movie Crazy Rich Asians became a smash, director Jon M has become a pretty hot commodity in Hollywood. As Jolene Kent tells us, the story of his rise is truly an American tale.
Hong Kong style.
For more than 50 years, the kitchen at Chef Chu's in Los Altos, California, has produced one crowd pleaser
And the meat is very tender.
after another,
So pot stickers I love.
including a certain Hollywood director.
Garlic noodles with lobster is like delicious.
Iconic and very
Iconic.
Do some crazy.
Before he'd bring Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights to the big screen,
Hey, y'all. Good morning.
Jon M was the kid folding napkins in the corner of his dad's Silicon Valley restaurant.
I would lay here and do my homework.
His immigrant parents from China and Taiwan immersed him in American culture.
Somewhere over the rainbow. We used to sing that all the time. It's this idea of dreaming of some other place beyond the walls of my bedroom was instilled in us, because that's what my parents thought when they came to America. It's the promise of something more. My mom would call us the Asian Kennedys, and she would dress us the same. So we have these like epic family photos.
When Jon said he wanted to get into film and Hollywood, what did you think?
Is that a good expression?
Meet the parents, Mom Ruth and Dad Lawrence, better known as Chef Chu.
He doesn't want to be a director. He wanted to be an actor.
Well, he wanted to do many things.
Yeah, but then he realized he's not tall and not handsome enough.
Could be true.
That's the mommy talk. That's how we talk in the family. Very straightforward.
Less straightforward was the 44-year-old's actual path to the red carpet, as he details in his memoir, Viewfinder. It all began with the June 1992 Sharper Image Catalog.
It was an AV mixer, an audio-video mixer, where you connect VCRs together and your stereo together, and you could make a movie.
Would you like to see a cameraman? Okay. Here I am.
Home movies at first. And later, his own remake of Titanic.
Don't do that, Rose. Don't you go say your goodbyes now, Rose.
Film school came next, and Chu scored meetings with Steven Spielberg and 2 movie deals by 23. But this is Hollywood, so when the deals fell through, he was jobless. His mom once again got straight to the point.
I got a script for a sequel to a dance movie, and I told my agents, oh, I don't do direct-to-DVD. I got discovered by Spielberg, so I told my mom that story, and she's like, when did you become a snob? I was like, what? She's like, if you're a storyteller can tell a story in any medium.
The interesting thing, though, is Steven Spielberg was telling you, be careful what your first movie is. And you've got Mom, who's not exactly a movie industry veteran.
Yep.
And you chose Mom.
I chose Mom. Come on.
I don't think there's another choice.
Are you aware that you could be the next train wreck?
What followed was a decade of documentaries, dance projects, and action sequels.
Drive it like you stole it.
The critics weren't always fans, but you couldn't argue with the box office.
But you're not satisfied. Why?
I had pushed away talking about being Asian for so long, because if I did, then all of a sudden I'm the Asian director, and I'd only be seen as that. But it started to feel a little empty of like, well, what is the thing that I most want to say? I had not actually revisited my past, where my family comes from.
The result? Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, damn, Nick. It's a party, though.
A hit at the box office.
Self-made woman. She must be so proud of you.
And with the critics.
Well, she knows that I'm passionate about what I do, and she's always wanted that for me.
Pursuing one's passion. How American.
Based on the best-selling novel, it was the first American film with a mostly Asian cast in 25 years. For inspiration, Chu knew where to go.
I knew the things that I wanted to draw from here. I wanted Eleanor to be in an environment like this, because to me, this is them like playing jazz with making food. I wanted that power to be shown as Eleanor walked around the island.
If I won the lotto tomorrow, well, I know I wouldn't bother going on no spending spree.
Translating struggle and ambition to the silver screen with sumptuous visuals and elaborate numbers seemed to be Chu's calling.
You're green.
He's now landed in Oz.
Yeah.
Directing the film adaptation of the Broadway mega hit Wicked.
There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
You look up, then you look at each other for one short.
Part 1 is out this fall, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
Wicked has this line, it's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leap.
It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes and leave.
When I heard that, it sounded a bit like you.
It's the whole reason I did the movie. It's all about striving for that dream and being able to fight through the uncomfortable things to get there.
The son of immigrants with big dreams is a familiar story, but Jon Chu knows the path to a Hollywood ending is not always what it seems.
Just follow the yellow brick road.
So now, how has your view of the Wizard of Oz changed since you were a kid?
I think that yellow brick road is no longer the path that you just keep following, because there is no wizard there that's going to give you your heart's desire. Life is a series of walking adventures, and as you're walking, smell the flowers and feel the air, and maybe you'll realize you're actually flying.
Accelerate, defy.
It's Sunday morning on CBS. And here again is Jane Pauley.
Our look ahead to the Academy Awards continues this weekend with Cynthia Erivo, the Wicked star who hopes to add an Oscar to her already impressive resume. Seth Doane caught up with the multi-talented actor in her hometown of London.
Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home.
Before gracing such grand venues as the Academy Awards, Cynthia Erivo could be found here.
It's been such a long time.
At the Stratford East Theatre, not far from where she grew up.
The auditorium felt huge, and now it feels really intimate.
Where she'd fill any role she could.
Whether it was me working the bar or being an usher. And when I got to be in a play here, I was so happy. That was a big deal for me.
I wanna be the reason for the sunrise.
The talent that made her a big deal is undeniable.
I was born by the river.
A dynamic vocalist who convincingly took on the role of Aretha Franklin.
Oh, but how can I give you all the things I am if you're tying both of my hands?
Yeah.
Is it possible to really recognize how special that is?
What I think is most special is what I get back from people, the connections that get made. That's the thing I'm always looking for.
She connected with Broadway audiences in The Color Purple, earning a Grammy, an Emmy, and a Tony Award.
Hi, Mommy, look.
No one should be scorned or laughed at or looked down upon or...
And now she's starring in the film Wicked, which has 10 Oscar nominations, including Best Actress for Erivo.
Come with me. What? To meet the wizard.
Opposite Ariana Grande, Erivo plays Elphaba in this prequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Don't dream too far. Don't lose sight of who you are.
Elphaba battles being an outcast and discovers her inner strength.
It's time to try defying gravity.
Before I saw the film, I saw all of the people online doing takeoffs of your defying gravity.
So if you care to find me to the western sky, has someone told me lately? Everyone deserves a chance to fly.
It's really fun that people have sort of taken it and made it their own. And I'm glad that that moment brings so much joy to people.
So if you care to find me to the western sky.
What do you think you brought to Elphaba?
The vulnerability, her humanity.
What's that vulnerability for you personally, as Cynthia?
I think always wanting to do well and not wanting to fail, not wanting to let family down. Those are little insecurities. Finally owning how I look.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we're not necessarily told that you know, dark-skinned black girls are the prettiest girls, and the only person that really is telling you, thankfully, is your mother. It's up to you to figure out that for yourself and to start owning what beauty is to you.
You're really close with your mom.
Yeah.
You're not with your dad.
No.
As you've gone on to have more and more success and visibility, how much do you think about your dad?
I don't necessarily think about him too much, only that I wish him well. When I was a teenager, I was angry at what that relationship was. That sort of fractured relationship I have with him, I think originally was one of the driving forces of, like, you know, you want to do well because you want to prove that you're good enough to be loved. But then You have to start learning how to do it for you.
What happened with your dad?
We had a falling out that just never repaired, yeah.
And he just left early on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting that you trace some of your desire to find success to a desire to
be loved.
The 38-year-old lives in Los Angeles, but grew up in London.
London really is kind of what made me, you know?
Erivo's parents were immigrants from Nigeria.
Don't touch them. Do not touch them because they are hot as hell.
She'd come to this market with her mom, whose drive for a better life was formative.
My mum made a decision because she wanted more for herself. To do that is a really brave thing, and I think that watching her do that made me do the same. You sort of are given the tools to be determined enough to go after your dreams, yeah.
Her roles show range.
How lucky are you feeling tonight?
Definitely not eat that sandwich, Lucky.
And her portrayal of abolitionist Harriet Tubman in the 2019 film
I'm gonna be free or die.
led to her first Academy Award nominations for Best Actress and Best Original Song.
Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling?
And secured her a place on the red carpet, where she speaks through another sort of language, fashion.
I think they're the words without the words.
What do you feel like you say with how you dress?
I think I tell people I'm a bit of a daredevil, that I'm a kind rebel.
Incredibly, she dared to sing live on set while flying in a harness.
So if you care to find me, down to the western sky, has someone told me everyone deserves a chance to fly?
How does singing live in a film like that change the
Well, you can
final
play.
product?
It means that you can act on impulse, so that what once was something has changed within me, something is not the same, becomes something has changed within me, something is not the same. You have more breath, more space. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same.
It lets the performance change.
That's right.
And presumably it lets more of you
out.
Lately, Erivo is letting more of herself out, releasing an album later this year. Then there's part 2 of Wicked.
I feel really open. I felt more myself than ever in this sort of last couple of years. It makes things a lot more fun, you know?
and maybe gives another meaning or undertone or something to this defying gravity.
Yeah. It's kind of using the things that you thought would hold you back to soar, yeah.
Why does the Oz story mean so much to so many people?
I mean, I can only speak for myself about why the Oz story is so meaningful. I think it's our classic American myth, you know, the story of speaking truth to power, and having brains and heart and courage when you don't think you do, and the least of us being able to overcome the most powerful wickedness, etc. I mean, it's all the stuff of myth. It's just very cleverly American, thanks to L. Frank Baum. You know, I try to find what sounds like the character, what feels like, you know, if I just heard the music, if I didn't speak English, what would that be telling me? So when I was first starting to work on Wicked, since we're talking about Wicked, and I was thinking about Elphaba and like the character of the Wicked Witch, and knowing that at some point she was going to come into her power. What sounds like power? And I came up with this. that just felt like power to me, like coming up. It still feels that way to me. I play those chords and I just feel it coming up through my feet, you know, whereas Glinda was, you know, kind of a bubblegum character at the beginning, you know, so it was all like, you know, and I feel as if you hear those two things, you can describe those two girls.
And why does it need to be two parts?
There's so much story. We tried for a long time to figure out how to get the movie into being a workable length and still be one part. And we were just going to wind up having to cut things or compress story or be superficial in certain places. And we didn't want to be. And we thought of the idea of having an intermission, you know, like an old-fashioned movie, or actually this year The Brutalists did it. But yeah, but ultimately it just was felt, well, let's just do two movies. There's such a precedent for that now with great trilogies like The Lord of the Rings, etc.
Right. That's right. And the second one's darker, yeah?
Well, it's emotional. I think that's the more emotional, I suppose, though the first one's pretty emotional too. Yeah. But, you know, bad things happen in the story.
So some of Somewhere Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz shows up in Wicked?
Yes, there are several homages or Easter eggs in Wicked. The one it's the first one I decided to do, and the one that's, you know, maybe best known is that the big motif in Wicked, which is the unlimited motif where Elphaba sings, and it occurs several times in the show. She does unlimited, my future is unlimited. But that's actually over the rainbow. But it has different chords, different rhythm, but very deliberately, because of my love for the movie and my fan adoration of Arlen and Harburg, I was like, well, I have to, if this is going to be the motif, can it reflect Over the Rainbow in a way where I don't get sued?
What kind of music did your parents play around the house when you were growing up?
My parents, neither of whom were inherently musical, were great fans of music. So there was classical music, there was a lot of what we would now call world music and folk music. Okay. They were theater goers because I grew up on Long Island, very close to New York, so cast albums like The King and I remember very well, and My Fair Lady, you know, having those albums playing in my house, opera. There was a lot of music there.
And when you were allowed to touch the record player, what were you putting on?
I think I listened to cast albums a lot, and I liked folk music.
You like folk music?
Yeah, so, and I still do. We were also talking about Laura Nyro before, who was very... So Laura Nyro, among other things, the first time I heard her, she would do chords like this. So like Laura Nyro's, you know, so normally everyone else would have written, she stuck, this is an F chord, F-A-C, she stuck this G on the bass. So when I heard that the first time, it was like, oh, you can do that? You can, and so, you know, I'm always doing, that's very, people would say like, oh, Stephen Schwartz passage. To do, rather than to do that rub, again, it's a yearning. That's because Laura Nyro told me I could do that.
Jeez, and it isn't that the right word, almost consternation, but when I hear that, it's a rubbing. It's a rubbing.
There's a rub to it, but yes, there's a longing for resolution, but but being in touch with true emotions, or there's like a depth to it. I don't know why. I mean, music is so mysterious. I started taking piano lessons, and particularly that my inclinations went towards musical theater.
And you ended up at Juilliard as a high schooler?
Yeah, Juilliard has a preparatory division.
Okay.
And so I used to go on Saturdays, I would take 2 trains into New York City by myself in those days at 12, and then take the subway up to 125th Street, which is where Juilliard was at the time, and take theory and composition and obviously piano and a bunch of other excellent courses. And yeah, it was great training for me.
It was like pretty hardcore.
It was very hardcore, but it was great. Okay, so it's the ache of it. When I was a kid and playing my Beethoven, and came to that, I would play that bar over and over again. It was, and cry. It's very embarrassing.
And what was the goal at that point?
Well, I knew that I wanted to be a professional composer.
In musical theater?
In musical theater.
And that classical training was part of that, or?
For me, it was, yeah. And before that, I had a private, piano teacher who was all classical and a lot of theory, which was, very helpful to me. And almost always I would go to my classes at Juilliard, but every now and then I would play hooky and I would go to a matinee, unbeknownst to my parents. And I particularly remember that I saw Barbra Streisand sing Happy Days Are Here Again on The Tonight Show, and the next day I was supposed to go to Juilliard, and instead I went to the Broadway Theater and I bought a ticket for I Can Get It For You on sale to see her in it.
And how did Godspell happen?
Godspell kind of fell into my lap. I had, although it began at Carnegie Mellon, I was graduated already. And I had come to New York, and I was kind of trying to interest producers in Pippin, which was the show that I brought with me from Carnegie Mellon. And I acquired an agent, Shirley Bernstein, who was Leonard Bernstein's sister. And she took me around to play for all these different producers. Among them were Edgar Lansbury and Joe Baru. And I played the score for Pippin for them, and they were not interested in Pippin at all. But several months later, I got a call from them, and they said, "We've seen this show at the Café La Mama called Godspell, and we think it has commercial potential, but we think it needs a score. Would you go and see it and see if you're interested?"
Okay, it's a musical with Jesus as a central character. You're a Jewish guy. Did you think, well, all right, I'll give it a go?
I mean, I think one of the things that made Godspell work was the fact that I didn't know a lot of those stories. I mean, everyone knows the Passion of the Christ. Sure. We all know that story because it's, part of American culture. But I didn't know I'd heard the term prodigal son. Yeah. So I think I came to it with a kind of fresh eye about not preaching to the converted, so to speak.
You were 23 when Godspell
23, yeah.
Premiered. I mean, that success, did it catch you off guard?
Very much so, yeah. That whole beginning of, for want of a better word, my career with Godspell, and then Pippin following on it, and the Bernstein Mass and Magic Show, all within the space of a couple of years, was very dizzying and not that easy to cope with. I mean, listen, no one wants to hear anyone complain about how difficult it is to be successful. And,
but it happened.
The truth is, when you're very young and unprepared for success, it can be difficult to handle. It was difficult for me to handle.
How so?
I think I got quite full of myself. I got kind of difficult to deal with. I kept thinking, as I was working on other projects, well, why isn't everybody just doing exactly what I say? I just didn't, I sort of lost the ability to, in some ways, not entirely, but I lost somewhat the ability to collaborate And again, I lost the ability to see through other people's eyes and hear other points of view. And, you know, it took some failures and really being brought down to earth to kind of return to that, and also learn better how to deal with both success and failure.
On Pippin, the collaboration with Bob Fosse.
That was a very challenging collaboration for me and Bob. We were very strong personalities. He was not the best at communicating verbally. He wasn't an incredibly articulate guy. He communicated much better with his designers and his actors than with his writers, and I wasn't great about seeing through his eyes, and so there were a lot of clashes.
Is it true that he tossed you out of rehearsal once?
Probably. I don't remember anymore because it was so long ago,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised. The ironic thing, all these years later, is that there are two ironic things, I think. One is that I think the show is much better because of that conflict, because Bob's kind of dark, cynical point of view and my, at that time, quite youthful idealism are clashing in the show, and that's what makes the show work. And the other thing that is funny to me is that I've now become kind of the guardian of Bob's vision. And so if I see productions of the show and there are certain things that Bob had brought into it that they've missed, I will say, no, you have to have him come in and interrupt here, et cetera. So I'm now like seeing through Bob's eyes in a way and bringing that to it. And my joke about it is that somewhere Bob is looking up and laughing. There was this little opening thing that so that doesn't that just feel like optimism and I'm gonna do it, and yeah, that just felt, and it's in C major, you know,
It's very bright,
very bright and very uncomplicated.
Uncomplicated,
Yeah.
and then
And then this. It just is again about optimism and determination, and I don't know what's going to happen when I sit down. I don't know. I come with like an emotion and I start doing things, and then, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. It's this magical process where I don't know what's going to come out of my fingers.
So when you're 26, you have Godspell, Pippin, and the Magic Show running simultaneously. I mean, that had to do something to your ego. How could it not?
It did. I mean, as I've said, that whole period was turned out to be challenging for me, just in relating to other people, and there was, at least I imagined, there was a lot of resentment towards me in the more established theater community, because here was this kid, you know, who'd come sort of from nowhere and now had 3 shows running on Broadway. I don't know if there was resentment or not, but it felt to me as if there was.
But, you know, that's interesting because the shows were successful. So, you know, for there to be, I mean, that's, in other words, jealousy? Yeah.
I felt that. I can't say that it was real, but it felt to me as if I was, you know, an outsider, and you know, the sort of establishment would just as soon I go away. I mean, part of it was, you know, I tend not to get good reviews, and so I think I put that as part of, you know, the judgment of the theater community, which I wanted to be a part of, and didn't really feel myself to be a part of. But in retrospect, that was just probably my own, you know, misunderstandings and the sort of like lack of perception that had developed by having these sort of 3 big hits in a row.
Well, okay, but you haven't always been Critics' Choice.
I'm almost never Critics' Choice.
What is that about?
I have no idea. I just do the best I can, you know. But that's been something that's. I mean, I'll be frank about it. You know, I wish I got Steve Sondheim's reviews. Mm-hmm. What can I tell you? Though he would say he would complain that he used to get bad reviews too.
But listen, as great as he was, his shows didn't run the way yours have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we all sort of want what the you know, the grass is always greener. I would like to get better reviews than I tend to do for my work, but at this point in my life, I can't really worry about it. And as you say, I've been fortunate enough that many of my shows have been very successful, despite what's been said about them and about me.
So then you have this rough patch. You have
you have
exactly. The Baker's Wife. You have
Baker's Wife, Working, Children of Eden, Rags. You know, all of which didn't succeed initially. You know, I've been very lucky in that most of them have come back and had, you know, wonderful long lives. But when they first appeared, that was not the case.
Did you worry that you were out of juice?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I felt like, okay, this is it, and I had a good run, and now it's over. And in the 90s, I actually went back to school and started, I was pursuing a degree in psychology.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I was going to be, I'm still sort of sorry in some ways that I didn't do that, because I would like to have been a therapist.
You were going to become a therapist?
I was going to become a therapist.
So where were you studying?
NYU.
You were studying
I made a deal with NYU that I would do some musical theater classes if I could attend classes and get my master's, and then I, you know, would have had to go on from there in therapy, in psychotherapy.
And was that pursuit therapeutic for you?
Sure, yeah. I was always very interested in it. Interestingly enough, in one of my classes, I became friendly with a young woman who also had tried to kind of make it in as a songwriter and had gotten frustrated, named Lisa Loeb. And then we were both in the same class together. Wow. And the same thing happened to each of us. I got a call from Disney to would I like to work on animated features, because Alan Menken's partner, writing partner, Howard Ashman, had passed away.
Yeah.
And they were looking for someone to work with Alan.
And do you think that period of you stepping away from songwriting, studying psychology, did it give you something that helped you when you got back into it?
Definitely, yes, absolutely. I think it was, a lot of things were helpful to me. Having a lot of failure, actually, oddly enough, was very helpful to me, because it made me appreciate, when I went back to work, how lucky I was to be doing it at all. And to be much more focused on the process and much less focused on the outcome. And I think the time away reminded me of how to behave myself and how to collaborate and how to deal with other people and not just come in like a bull in a china shop.
Well, when you say learn how to behave, were you throwing furniture before? What were you?
No, but I was tough to collaborate with. You know, I would have the equivalent of tantrums, and you know, that was, as we were talking earlier, that was the result of sort of early success.
Huge
before
success, yeah.
I was really psychologically ready to deal with it.
And how significant is it that in this phase, when you went to Hollywood to work on these movies, that in some cases you were only doing lyrics, you weren't doing music and lyrics, you weren't controlling the whole process?
I don't think that was particularly significant, because you know, I still was very involved with putting the stories together and working out the structure of it. It was very much the same, and also Alan and I the way we work together. We were such a good team that it didn't feel to me that I wasn't sort of central to the process. But I just think I came in with a different way of collaborating. And I can't say, you know, I was 100% wonderful to deal with every single day. But, you know, I think I'm a lot better now at collaborating and working with the very, very talented people that I've been fortunate enough to be able to collaborate with.
Your parents were there to watch you
Yeah,
win an Oscar. And that's extraordinary.
It was a good night. You know, I never thought I'd be in the movies. I wanted to be in the theater.
Right, well, I was going to say, but you're the elder statesman now.
I know.
Right.
I like it. I really
Yeah.
like that. I like being able to kind of try and pass on some things I've learned, and more than anything, be a cheerleader and just say to people...
How do you do that?
Well, just hear early work, and if I recognize that it's talented, say so. Say you're really good, and you know you could maybe work on this and that aspect of it, but you're for real. You should keep doing this. Or if someone has had a show that I admired that didn't succeed, getting in touch with them and saying, "Hey, I don't know why this show didn't work, but that's a great score, and you should be very, very proud of it." Just letting people know, you know, when you have a failure or you lose an award or something, the silence is deafening. Oof. Deafening.
Yeah.
And you feel like it. The phone does not ring. As I say, silence is deafening. I try to, if it's something I've admired or a person I think really should be encouraged, I try to break that silence.
Yeah, because you remember how it felt.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, but at this point with your body of work, there's so many songs that mean so much to so many people over time, right? That's got to feel great.
It does. I mean,
weddings and songs are I mean, just...
I feel so blessed and so fortunate that work I've done has this ongoing life that I know is going to keep going when I'm not here on this planet anymore, and that it means things to people. And when I hear from people about, I was feeling so down and then I listened to Defying Gravity and it gave me renewed energy or something like that, when you know that you've communicated to others, and that's why writers become writers, because we want to communicate. And to know that I've been able to do that for a lot of years now is so, I feel so lucky for that. And listen, I'm 77 years old and I've got a new show opening in November. Queen of Versailles, opening in November. They still let me do this.
You have an incredible discipline.
Yeah.
Waking up early, getting to set early,
Mm-hmm.
running half marathons before matinees and evening performances.
I don't know if that's discipline or craziness. Can it be both?
What drives you?
I don't know. I think I just want to see whether or not there's a limit. You know what I mean?
You like pushing your body?
I like pushing myself. I want to see what I'm made of all the time. I think it's just about the full experience of who I am. I'm curious about what I can do physically and vocally and as an actress. I think I choose pieces of work because they might scare me a little bit. I choose pieces of work because they're challenges and I might not have done it before. I don't know the character and I haven't met them before and they scare me a little bit. Because that means that you'll probably get the best of me because I'll work harder to discover who they are and to share who they are.
Were you scared about Wicked?
I think I was, because I felt like it was going to be something bigger than myself.
Why?
because of its history, you know, and people know and love it so much. And I knew that our version might be slightly different. We would pay homage to what's on the stage, but we would have to veer away in some places. We'd have to add, we'd have to take away. And so knowing that that was going to happen is sort of a scary thing to do with a very well-known piece and to do with a very well-known character. So there are certain expectations, I think, that come along with this role.
How did you try to find your own character?
I think I had to pay attention to what was and then kind of let it go and decide for myself what Elphaba meant to me so that I could be as truthful as I possibly could. I didn't want to do a mimic of someone else. I wanted to do something that was connected to who I am.
In creating Elphaba, you wanted pieces of you to stay.
Yeah.
You wanted, even though you're green, you wanted it to be apparent that there was a black woman
playing the character
underneath that green. Why?
I think that it opens a conversation about many different things. I think it opens a conversation about what that experience could be like, and the combination of those two things, I think, is a special statement. And also, I think it adds to the story of it. And ordinarily, what's been before are usually not girls that look like me. And so, to not erase that, I wanted to just add little tells that said, oh, this the woman underneath.
There's a scene in the Ozdust ballroom. You can feel the pain in being in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that sense of otherness something that you've felt?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever really felt like I belong. I've always sort of felt like I'm an odd one out.
In what way?
I think in many ways, the way I look, the way I present myself, and just like the things I've been through. Like going to drama school, RADA is usually a place that a lot of people who have money and affluence go, and occasionally you get those students who don't come from that and don't know that world, and that was me when I went. It's everything from walking in the world as me, queer black woman, and not necessarily feeling like everyone else understands that. The rooms I walk in, there aren't that there's not very many prototypes that I can look to. Even in my family, who I love dearly, there aren't any actors. There are no performers, really, truly. It's been interesting to share with very traditional Nigerian family members that you're going to be an actor.
What was the response?
My mother kind of knew immediately when I was younger, but the sort of family around her didn't really understand why. So it's sort of like a placating, oh yes, that's nice, but make sure you have a backup plan, you know, and I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't really want to be anything other than what I am now. But you sort of have to roll with the punches.
When was it that you first felt like, wow, I have this talent, I can sing?
I think I was about 11, and I was on the playground with a few friends. It was around the time when there was a song called The Boy Is Mine, Brandy and Monica, and then TLC had come up with a song called No Scrubs, and all the girls on the playground were splitting up into like duos or trios and doing those songs. And I remember that when we would do it, we would get a little bit of a crowd. So I thought, oh, I think I can do this. I think I'm good at this. And then my teachers would always have me in the choir and they would ask me to sing solo. And I think that, for me, told me, oh, there's something I can do with my voice. And that's when I kind of understood that I had more than just a singing voice. I had a singing voice and I could use it, yeah.
Do you remember that feeling of recognizing the talent?
Yeah, it's kind of exhilarating. It's very, very exciting to sort of know that that's what the thing I wanted, I could actually do.
But to do it on the level, the scale that you've done it,
Yes.
then takes another major
I don't know that,
jump.
that me at 11 knew that that was even possible. I think I've been having to shift the bar for myself as the years have gone on. For me, it was sort of, okay, I want to sing in front of people behind a microphone on a stage. Then you do that at like a club or something. And then you sing on a little stage with a mic, whether it be a open mic night, which I would do all the time, because I was sort of always searching for ways to perform, ways to make the journey to where I wanted to get to with no no blueprint, no map, nothing. I had no idea how to do it, so I would just find places to be. Then once I had done that and it went well, I felt like, oh, I've done the thing that I really want. Well, maybe I can do it professionally and I can do it on a stage.
Where do you put your bar now? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be going?
Many places. I really want to sing my own music for people, and I want to be in a stadium.
This sounds more like a recording artist career than an acting career.
I kind of want to run them concurrently. Yeah. That's always been a dream of mine, being able to do both well.
You're releasing a record
later
this year.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
That some of it's autobiographical. I love the music that we've made. Most of it is very much just me and my voice, and we've built a lot of music using the sounds that I can make.
What do you mean by the sounds you can make?
So let's say I sing a vocal line, then that vocal line will live on the piece, and then I will sing a vocal line on top of that, another different one, and I'll keep layering until there's nothing left in my head to layer. And then I will sing a top line, a melody over that.
Are you creating the music while you're recording?
Yes.
There's not something written when you go into the studio?
No.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work?
It's usually worked.
So you have an idea of what you want to sing going in?
No.
So it's just like, come on in today, we'll come up with something?
Yeah, we'll go in and we'll sort of sit for a second, we'll talk and we'll decide what the song wants to be about. And often the lyrics come after the vocal pad. They sort of happen as I'm recording it. So I'll record a line and there'll be a line playing in my head as I'm recording a different line. And so once that line is in my head, I'll sing that line and then another line will turn up. And I'll just keep going until there's nothing left.
Is that an unusual way to work?
Yes.
To record an album?
Yeah.
Your whole new album is this?
Yeah, it has most of the album has that.
How do you think the album is?
I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. Label seems to be proud of it too, so hopefully everyone else will be.
And it's obviously, it's all you. It's recognizably your...
Very much so, it's me.
How is it to stand on a stage and do that with your voice and affect people?
For me, it's thrilling. For me, it really is an electric feeling, and I love it.
Is it nerve-wracking? Or once you're out,
Once I open my mouth, I'm fine. Once I start to sing, the nerves sort of disappear. The nerves always show up about 10 seconds before the curtain goes up or 10 seconds before the music starts, which is why often before I begin, I take a breath because it stills everything and then I can begin, yeah.
But if the nerves only happen about 10 seconds before the curtain goes up, then that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, no. Maybe there'll be like butterflies before, nothing insane, but it's just as I walk out, then I get like a frisson of nerves, but it tells me I care. That lets me know that I care. The moment I stop feeling that, then we have a problem.
When you walked into this room, you said, this is surreal.
Very surreal.
Why?
I haven't been back here for literally years. I think, I want to say 20 years maybe.
What was happening in this room 20 years ago?
It still is a bar. This was a bar.
You were
and
working...
I was working in this bar.
As a bartender? Or?
A bartender. This is the bar at the back of the theatre that we're in. We're in a theatre called Stratford Theatre Royal. I've worked at the front of house. I've worked as an usher. I've worked at the bar. I've waited tables. There was a stage over here at one point before. I sung on that stage. Anything I could do in the theatre, I did in the theatre.
You just wanted to be in the theater.
I just wanted to be in the theater.
Even if it meant being behind the bar.
Right, that's correct.
Or as an usher. What do you get from that?
I got a hunger to be a part of this. Whenever there was a show on at the theatre, I would usher or be at the front of house, and I would always watch the show. And watching the show served as inspiration because I knew I wanted to be on the stage as well. And I just kept coming back here just in case there might be a way in.
You would be working here, ushering, and trying to audition too?
Yeah, I would ask. It was audacious of me to ask, but I would ask if I could audition for the plays that were coming in. And then at one point I did a play here.
Looking at the press for Wicked,
yeah.
It's like, is there anything left to say? You have talked about this film a lot. You have gotten a ton of press.
Yeah.
Could anything prepare you for the amount of attention that Wicked has received?
I don't know. I don't think anything could prepare me, but I think I've been lucky enough to have some really wonderful people around me who keep me very grounded.
Do you need grounding?
I think it's important to feel like you won't get swept away with all of it.
How did this role resonate within you? What do you think you brought to Elphaba?
I think I brought, and was asked to bring, I think, the vulnerability, her humanity. So I think the tendency for something like this, for a role like this, is to become a caricature. You know, the story of the Wicked Witch is its own folklore, and I think the task is to make sure that within all of that, within that legend, within that folklore, you infuse it with the sort of soft underbelly of who she is and what she's hiding from people and what she doesn't want people to know, which is how vulnerable she is, the hurt that she has, the insecurity that she might be experiencing, the way she uses comedy and sarcasm to hide all of that sort of pain and angst and hurt and maybe hope sometimes as well. And that's something I wanted to bring to her, a little joy and hope.
When you were describing yourself in ways that you felt as a part, you said black, queer.
Yeah.
That queer component is something that the world has known for less time.
Yes.
It's something that you've not been as
vocal with. Yeah.
Tell me about that experience in deciding to be more open.
I just wanted more space in my brain, in my body, in my mind. And the only way you can do that is if you stop hiding parts of yourself that actually aid who you are as a creative being. And I felt like keeping that under a lid and not sharing it was taking up so much energy. I think I had gotten tired of not being completely myself. And then for those young black women who are queer black women, or for young people who are queer black youth who look at this film and go, oh, she's here so I can be too, is really special. You never know what your revealing of things that you're hiding can do for other people. And I think that has been a really special experience.
Sounds like it's done something for yourself too.
Yeah. I feel really open. I felt more myself in this sort of last couple of years. So I just sort of get to be, yeah. And it makes things a lot more fun, you know? Yeah.
You're really close with your mom.
Yeah.
You're not with your dad.
No.
As I was thinking about similarities between you, Cynthia, and Elphaba, there's this relationship that's strained with the father in the film and in your real life.
Yeah.
As you've gone on to have more and more success and visibility, how much do you think about your dad?
I don't necessarily think about him too much, only that I wish him well. I think you have to have empathy for people, you know? And I wasn't always in that place. I think I was, when I was a teenager, I was angry at what that relationship was. That sort of fractured relationship I have with him, I think originally was one of the driving forces of, like, you know, you want to do well because you want to prove that you're good enough to be loved. But then you have to start learning how to do it for you.
Without prying more than you share what you want to share, but what happened with your dad?
We had a falling out that just never repaired, yeah.
And he just left early on.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you trace some of your desire to find success to a desire to
be loved.
Specifically with your dad, you think? Or a hole that he left?
I think so. I think that was what it began as, yeah.
He doesn't reach out. He could find you.
I think so.
How does that sit with you?
Oh, fine. Because I don't know what I would say. I don't know. He doesn't know me. And I don't know him. So we're sort of strangers in that way, you know?
This relationship that you and Ariana Grande have, you've described her as a sister of sorts. What is this friendship? What's at the core of it?
Deep honesty. That's at the core of it.
And that just happened?
Yeah, both of us seem to be of the same mind. When we first started, she and I had a real conversation about making sure that we were there for each other. Almost like a tag team. Like, whatever you need, let me know. Whatever I need, I'm going to let you know. We knew that we were going to spend so much time with each other, and it's a really intimate thing to have to sing with the person. It's more than just making sounds with another person. It's listening and hearing and following and putting your ego aside and actually actively trying to mesh and connect with someone else's voice. And our voices are very different. And somehow, because we have made that agreement, I think it's bled into the way we sound together. I think that what we have as vocalists together and as people together are intrinsically connected.
The two of you seem to cry a lot in interviews together. Sometimes holding hands, sometimes touching fingers.
Yes. I think it's just, it's so interesting because we kept having this conversation, people are like, why are they always crying? Why are they always crying? And I think what people didn't see is that we were thrown into these interviews with people who had just seen the movie. So they come into the room with all the energy of people who had just seen the movie, and everything that they're feeling pours out in front of us. And then we are actually present and feeling it with them. We're just being human. I think that it seemed odd because you never see it. People don't let themselves be that vulnerable and open and emotional when you're doing these things. You know, press tours can be very uniform. You say some things and you wear some clothes and then you move on. But we wore things we loved and spoke about a thing that we loved, that we would both dream about doing. It wasn't just a film for us, it was really, truly a dream come true to be a part of it.
How was working with Jon M, the director?
Amazing. He's wonderful. He, for me, was like a sort of a North Star. He would always know the right thing to say to get to the core of what he needed from a performance.
Can you give an example for you personally?
There's a moment in the attic just before Elphaba gets her cape, and he would whisper. He would always give us slightly different direction. So he'd say to me, "Let her know that it's okay," or he would say to her, "You have to be strong for her." So those sort of kernels of ideas are then left to me to, how do I translate that without saying anything? How do I let her know that it's okay without saying anything? And then the wink happens.
And this is something that comes up right as you're about to shoot.
Right as you're about to shoot.
You didn't plan to do it the day before or a few hours before?
Not at all.
And then Ariana Grande's on the receiving end, and that performance changes.
Yeah, that's right.
The women who originated these roles on Broadway are huge stars and have a great following.
Yes.
They make a cameo in the film and did press with you all, but clearly weren't the leads. I wonder how you thought about that after having been in a Broadway show, that then you were not in the film version.
When I got this role, my immediate action was to call Idina. I wanted to let the people who created this know that I had the uttermost respect for what they had created, and that this would not be happening if not for them.
What was that phone call like?
Really lovely. I really wanted to just say thank you for the work that she had done, for the sacrifices that she'd made, because 8 shows a week is not easy. It's very hard, and for stepping out on faith and doing something that was different, that could have not gone well, and it did. And because it did, we got to do this.
Is that something that did not happen in the making of the Color Purple film?
Not necessarily, but because I knew a lot of those people, I was happy for them, you know? And I spoke to Fantasia, and she was very, very sweet, and Danielle is someone I did the play with, so I wanted them to have a good time. And I didn't need that, you know? Fantasia had already been on stage before, she'd done it before me, and then I was sort of after her. So for that, it was more of a congratulations and well done, and I can't wait to see you do this. Yeah.
The Color Purple was a turning point for you.
Yeah.
It was.
That changed my life.
Changed your life.
It did. In my gut, I knew that was what I was meant to do, and we could have been doing it, I don't know, in a bar somewhere, and it would have been totally fine. I just knew that is what I wanted to be a part of, and it turned into this insane roller coaster ride that took me to Broadway, and sort of sent me on the rest of my path. Yeah.
Took you to Broadway, and you got a Grammy, a Tony, and an Emmy out of it.
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of incredible.
Yes. Yeah. It's insane, and it's the reason why I think I got my first 2 films, and Harriet then got me my Oscar nominations.
You have the Oscar nominations from Harriet. You have the Grammy, the Emmy, and the Tony. How much do you think about that missing?
I try not to think about it at all, but I'm reminded of it often.
I'm sure.
And so I just sort of go, well, whenever it's time, it's time. I'm not necessarily hanging on for it. It would be wonderful if it happened, but I think I have to put the work before the award, you know? Because that's actually how it has to be. Who knows? Yeah. I think what is lovely is how many people are rooting for me, and I guess there's a part of me that's like, I hope I can at some point make them proud.
Great, you're terrific. Thank you very much.
Thank you.